Welcome. I see more people streaming in. Thank you so much for coming out. We had wanted to have physical meetings, but because we are all across the world and in different corners, we have all gathered here today to pay our tributes, give our respects to our late Shujaa. Some wonderful good news. I'll switch on my video a little, then I'll switch it off, just so you see my face. So I was saying earlier, my name is Dr. Wangari, and I am a psychologist, a research mentor. I met Wanjiku in human rights defender circles, doing social justice work, and she was amazing. She was phenomenal. I spoke again later on phone, and we had back and forth meetings, including at her home these last few years. So I'm really, really honored. I'm sure most of you have known her longer, and I'll be so happy we can just take this time to just share anything about what we know about our Shujaa. As I had requested earlier, optionally, you can light some candles or get any element of nature that is embodied in an object so that we can symbolically begin to describe what it was like to know our Shujaa. And that's just an example of an activity we could do. We could also suggest many others. I have a couple of videos from the internet. Maybe as people are streaming in, we could play those, and then after that, there's short videos, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. After that, we have everyone settling. I know in Nairobi, some people are still commuting. I have a few people saying they'll join anytime. So we can take as short or as long a time as we need. So it's all very free and very, very voluntary. So I'd like to share my screen. Let's see if the volume is up. Okay, so I'm gonna try to first add the volume on the YouTube, and then I'll play. Sorry. Okay, oh, it was maximum. So all right, let's start again. Sorry. So these videos are online on YouTube. Just amazing videos on the kind of work she did. So let me screen share again. Just watch as we come in. All right. So I'm going to share another. Um, and this one is much shorter. It's sorry, that's an ad. So there's another video here, equally short, about 3 minutes. Just as people are streaming in, today is a free gathering, just paying tribute to our hero. So I'm gonna share that now. Those are beautiful images, lovely sounds. So I see we are now a considerable number. As I said, you can swing in and out of this call. This call is being recorded and will be a gift to anybody who would like to watch it in future on how we knew Wanjiku and what gift she was in our life. So if your Zoom is like mine, the names should be perhaps in alphabetical order. I see someone called Zoom user. Please rename your Zoom. Thank you. So then I'd like to invite any of us in any order, or we could also choose to just call on the next person on the Zoom that you see, so that we take our time and speak to what we know of Wanjiku. So we are all equals, no religion, no gender, no affiliation is superior than another. Here we're just gathered together as fellow human beings to just celebrate our Shujaa, our hero. So I'd like to invite anybody who would like to start. Feel free if you want to raise your hand. or just unmute. We are not so many, and we may proceed. The floor is open now. Hello, NM, welcome. Oh, I thought you were saying something. So who would like to start? Feel free if you have any poem, song, anything. Ivy Mwai, welcome. I see you are unmuted.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I might as well just kick off simply because I have the least to say. I was Wanjiku's classmate. We were together in the Muru Girls. Just hold on one sec. Yep, fungua. Sorry, around about the same time my doorbell has gone off. So
no problem.
Now, goodness gracious.
Take your time, no rush. We have about 2 hours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I was just going to say that I knew Wanjiku. We were in high school together at Limuru Girls from 1 to 4. And I hadn't seen her in a long time. Used to meet randomly at different places. And the last time I actually saw her, she just looked fantastic. She looked like a warrior queen. You know how she used to dress up and put on this big belt and colorful blanket shawl and a headdress, and she looked really fantastic. And then next I saw a picture of her when she was unwell and felt really sad that she was not feeling well, and she was no longer looking like that strong warrior woman. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see her in a long time, but I sort of kept up with how she was doing through other mutual friends. I'm sure that there are many, there's some of us on the call who definitely had spent more time with her, were able to give her care and support as she went through the worst time in her life. And, I wish her eternal rest. And one day, hopefully, we shall meet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very curious to know how her character was in high school. Was she also the warrior queen? I'm sure she was.
She was. I mean, sometimes we didn't understand her. And, and there were 2 Esther Mwangis, and there was another Esther Mwangi that was calmer, definitely very cuckoo. And we sort of identified them by their personalities. But she was really, she will be missed, that's for sure.
Thank you so much. Is it easier if we each pick on the next person, or anybody can talk in a popcorn style? What do you guys think? Yeah, I see a hand. Million Belay Ali, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Million Belay. I'm an Ethiopian. I spent quite in a very intensive way with Wanjiku in early 2000s. We didn't meet for a long time now. We're both working for, or we're both under the African Biodiversity Network. So because of that, we used to meet and travel together and be together for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in a very, very intensive environment in South Africa. in Ethiopia. Also, I took her to the Shaka forest, the forest there. We traveled together in Europe. I remember Netherlands, Sweden, in Norway together. So many places, I can't even list them. And in Kenya, obviously, when they started Porini in 2004, I think, about 2004, I started an organization in Ethiopia called Malka Ethiopia. So we're like sister organizations with her late friends, Karaoke, Tiongo. Three of them, they were four. Three of them have passed away. Three brilliant, very deep Kenyans. Yeah, I feel pain, even thinking about them, three of them, her included. She understands culture. She understands culture, relationship of culture with nature, in a very deeper way. Everywhere we went in, she explains to people, and they do understand. I remember one time we were in Kenya, I think close to Nanyuki. I don't remember now the hotel, and we were talking about resilience and culture, the importance of culture. She just sat down on ground and on the floor of the meeting place, and she started to draw. I still remember the way she was doing it. So no, the way she explains things, the way she understands things. She's also humorous, You make me laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. She laughs because when she loves you, she makes you laugh, whether you like it or not. She's a human being. She loves people. She understands people, really understands them. She tries to understand people. So we're communicating, writing emails, and every time I come to Kenya, I have to call her first. As a previous speaker have said, the first time I saw her photo on Facebook, I froze. I really froze. That beautiful Wanjiku. What has happened? And quite recently, Anne sent me also her photo and the two photos. And that was quite a shock. Yeah, what can one do? What can one do? Yeah, nobody wishes a death for anybody, but maybe it was a relief for her. Yeah, I think she's missed. A shock has rung through our network. I was facilitating a meeting with youth, and I've told her about her, and we celebrated her life, her contribution to Africa. We always cherish her. She's our queen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing that video of the standing ovation. That was really amazing. If any of you also want to comment on what anybody else has said, feel free. Ivy, did you unmute? Wanted to say something?
No, sorry, that was a
I
mistake.
see. Yeah, so I just really concur, especially on the humor part. She was a storyteller, and thank you so much for sharing that considerable time you spent that you say was intense in her career path, and in all these different places. Her love for people was always eminent, very, very prominent. Yeah. Yeah, she will indeed be missed. Thank you so much for that. I think the video that you had shared, Million, can be put up on a link, and whoever's doing our media can be contacted. So we just compile a sort of a video collage or photo collage, and this is something that, because Wanjiku was ahead of our times. She was living in the future, and she was, trying to create transformations that we still have a long way to catch up on. So I really think it would be nice to conserve these things for posterity. Thank you. So with your permission, Million, the video will be added up, the one with the standing ovation at the conference, and you got all these people clapping for her, and it was so beautiful. Thanks for that. All right. Anne Maina, Biba Kenya, welcome.
Thank you very much. So my name is Anne Maina. Also worked with Wanjiku under the Africa Biodiversity Network with Million and others. And apart from working together, and she's way older than I, maybe 15, 20 years older, but the conversations were so real. I remember like when she was, she had acquired, I think she was building at the Porini in Nanyuki. And sometimes she would, I live in Thika, and she would call me sometimes when she's driving down to Nanyuki, and would meet at Blue Post and with her friends. Wanjiku had friends cutting across all sectors, age groups, and she would call me and we'd have maybe a drink, sit down and talk. And I remember one time talking about the fact that I say I live in Thika, but it's just out of Thika. It's you cross the Blue Post in near the Thika Golf Course, so we're in Muranga. So I remember sharing with her, and she would, that originally my parents had come from Muranga, but settled in the Rift Valley. So she taught me about the Loco 1, Loco 10. She knew so much about history. I really loved that. It should tell me like now Gatanga is Loco 1 and all this, and would have such beautiful conversations. And she would like advise, you're still young. When you're young, do some investments. She was so excited about Porini, her constructing a place. I think she had great vision for that. It's unfortunate that she got unwell. I remember also like sharing even with Million. I think when I saw the first time also I saw on Facebook a photo with her friend, and I think it was 2019, she was planning to go to India for the surgery, and there was a call to support. And I was so shocked that I remember later meeting a friend of hers, a younger friend, and she was telling me that she had gone to see her and how she was doing. Some rather unfortunate I didn't make it to Nanyuki, but Wanjiku, like you said, was quite ahead of herself, or rather her time. She saw things quite differently. We spent many good times at Bantu Lodge in Nanyuki with her. She had this vast knowledge and really such an African woman. The other thing that we used to joke about, I think she had been baptized Esther, and I'm also called Wanjiku, and I told her, you see, I think we are Garanas because I was meant to be called Esther Wanjiku, but I think my father, when he went to register, he thought, okay, let me give her a different name because she's the firstborn. So I always used to call her and tell her, oh, Garana, how are you doing? And when we have some discussions, and she really treated me as her young sister or maybe even a daughter. And it's really sad. I still work with civil society, and things that she said even in the early 2000s about threat to our biodiversity, issues related to GMOs, seed, and all those, they are very critical. Many people who met Wanjiku still hold her in awe. And I really am lost for words, and I just pray for her family, and that many of us will be inspired by her vision, her articulation of issues. She would easily switch from articulating issues in English, and spoke very good Kikuyu. I remember telling her my Kikuyu is not very good, having been born and brought up in Nairobi, and she really encouraged me. And really, I just wish that we would have many more Wanjikos born and inspired by her vision, her knowledge, and all that. Just pray for the family and may she have eternal rest. Thank you.
Wow. You know, they say when we lose an elder, we lose a library of information. And I agree, she had an encyclopedic amount of knowledge, and her wisdom, you know, how she actually translated knowledge in the real world was phenomenal. Thank you so much for that narration. While having worked with Wanjiku. So we still have more of us who can say something. You just unmute, we are not so many. Raise your hand. I see there were some chats. Okay, I see some people typing in the chat. So Kananu says, hello, my apologies that I won't be able to unmute. I'm nursing laryngitis. Oh, sorry, Kananu, get well soon. Wanjiku was a sister to me and to my daughter. Wow. I was and I continue to be in awe of the vast knowledge of nature, biodiversity, and her zeal to share it. I truly hope someone will continue this, even in a small way, so she can continue to smile. Yeah. I really like that call to action. I think I had suggested at some point, if everybody could just plant a tree, wherever you are in the world, Wanjiku will be smiling for sure. So thanks so much for that, Kanana. And it's wonderful to have you represent the family. I hadn't seen whether we have any other family members here. Then, Million was responding to my earlier request to put up the collage of videos. So if any of you have any interactive media, photos, videos, links, or any moments you shared with Wanjiku, please do bring them forward. These are good memories for posterity. So hopefully our media team will be able to compile them to a sort of like a collage. So who else would like to say something? Zachary, Makanya, CEO READUP, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something.
Yes,
I
welcome.
want to say that I'm very saddened. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm very saddened for the loss of Wanjiku. I want to say that I have known her. I know her even in those formative stages when we were forming many organizations like ABN, like AFSA, like PELAM. I knew her to be a warrior and an environmental warrior, somebody who was very courageous, somebody who could stand on ground, whatever the circumstances. So as everybody is saying, we have lost somebody who is very hard to replace, and I think she fought a wrong and good fight, and we want to pray that we can continue the work and the legacy she left. So in short, because I know there are many others I want to say, I want to join the fraternity, the environmental fraternity, those who are there to protect the environment, those who are there to make sure that we fight to the very edge, and we shall continue doing this. That we join forces together. I don't know, ABN was suggesting that people can contribute some kit maybe to the family. I don't know whether ABN are doing this.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I think I muted you. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to mute the rest. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, can I say again?
Yes, say again about the kitty. Yeah.
Yes, and my hand suggesting that if we can contribute something, all of us, it would be a good idea. I know that we are surrounded by many things, many similar drives. Maybe people are sick in hospital. We are paying school fees for this and that. There are so many things. So honestly speaking, even if we contributed something small, however small, it can be given maybe to the family. Maybe she has left some members, some family members who are dependent on her. I would say that we can discuss it in this forum. But if this can be done maybe through AN or through ABN, that will be good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zachary. That is a wonderful tribute. I agree, she was a fighter. Yes, she fought the good fight even to the end. And she was very bold, actually, fighting for, you know, protecting sacred natural sites and having cultures transformation so that people can take care of our environment. Yeah. And the idea on the kitty is very good. I think this will be most definitely welcome. There is a lot of people agreeing with you, even on the chat. Jerry saying her work at Porini inspired me that beyond my interactions internationally at home, my relevance needs to be reflective of my work and passion. Wow. Yeah, that is so true. So the idea that, you know, being an all-rounder internationally at home and inspiration in, yeah, welcome. Yeah. Sorry, who's talking? Okay, let's see, one at a time. Who else wants to say something? I think she's unmuted by mistake. Okay, trying to mute everybody. Julia, please mute. I'm trying to mute you. Okay, Julia Morioki, kindly mute your audio. Sorry. Yeah, so I was just saying on the chat, there is quite some good comments. And then I also see another comment from Kananu. I have some seeds that she gave me on my last trip to Kenya. That was Wanjiku, spreading biodiversity worldwide. I cannot wait to plant them in her honor and memory. I regret not spending more time with her. My heart aches. It is well though. Thank you so much for that comment. That is definitely something everybody here can do. Take up a seed, a seedling, plant it in her honor. Thank you so much for that suggestion. And the other suggestion of a kitty, we can talk more about that as we continue. Jenny, welcome.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jenny Warambo. I first met Wanjiku through my elder sister. I was a few years behind them in age, and I met her back in the day when she was in their early careers, when they were in consulting. And I always admired Wanjiku. She was so beautiful, she was so confident, and she was so intelligent. So I always looked up to her as very knowledgeable as well. And I admired, as on top of that, her free spirit. And then fast forward, I then reconnected with her through my friend who's on this call, Safia, and then met her when she was doing the environmental work. We had the pleasure of visiting her in Nanyuki, I think a couple of times, admired what she was doing, watched her, you know, as she had taken on her new life, and also watched her as her health began to deteriorate, which was very touching, but she was still strong in spirit. I am touched by the wide network she created. Like everybody says, without repeating, she had a wide network of friends from all over. She enjoyed the environmental stuff. She was very knowledgeable in culture, got the benefit of some of her information and friendship, and very loving. So I'm very saddened to see her sign off from this world. I pray that her soul rests in eternal peace. And also, I thank you all, real friends, for supporting her, for help and walking this journey to rest her in her final place. So God bless you all. And thank you very much. Good evening. I will be dropping off the call shortly. Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. I really love the tribute. It is true, her spirit was strong to the very end, even when her body bodily health was deteriorating. And yes, I agree, very beautiful, confident, knowledgeable, free-spirited. People all over loved her and knew her. Really amazing. I see Sathya Robinson. Welcome.
Thank you, Wangari, for organizing this. I'm not feeling too well, so I'll try and be brief. I think it's befitting for me to follow after Jenny as we shared the friendship with Wanjiku. I would just like to say I lit a candle and I'm burning some incense for her. I am the one she came to stay with when she came to India. Wanjiku for me, she was great. She had all the environmental part, but for Wanjiku to me was the giggly schoolgirl that I met when I was 17 years old. Wanjiku and I had a long life together, which we went in and out. Those of you have probably read my tribute. Wanjiku was there even during the birth of my first son. She was really a sister to me. It is so hard. Wanjiku, you know, I would walk into a room and see Wanjiku. We hadn't seen each other for maybe even years, and our conversations would just continue from where it was. My boys, who had such a very strong bond with her, would always look at us and say, "Mom, you know, we see you and Auntie Wanjiku as two old women just giggling away into the late years of your life." And I feel so sad. And you know, I kept saying that, you know, there's still time, she'll be there. I don't actually work in Kenya, and every time I'd come home, I would either have a call with her, or as Jenny said, and thank you so much, Jenny. Jenny would drive me to Nyanyuki. We'd spend time with Wanjiku, we'd talk. And I used to keep telling her, "Wanjiku, I'm retiring in a year's time. Please hang in there. I'm coming back and we can spend time together." Because I've been gone for 16 years. But I always reached out to her. I always came back to her. I think I'll just stop here. I can't speak anymore. But I'm burning some incense for her in my room right now. Just remembering all the times we spent together, knowing that she loved these kind of things.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So it's very painful for all of us, and that's such a sweet memory from, you know, your son being born all the way to many times. And I'm so thankful to know that you're the one who hosted her when she had to go for medical care in India. Yeah, thank you so much.
May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Wangari, for organizing this. I'm sorry, it's very hard for me right now, and I haven't been well since I just arrived. And I was hoping she would come through. Actually, my last message to her, because I've just been posted to Ethiopia, because this was her favorite country. I was like, "Okay, Kuku, it's now you can come and actually stay here for as long as you want until I finish my posting." Wow. So I feel it's tough. It's really, really hard. But you know what? I carry a lot of wonderful memories. And even as I say this, I'm actually looking up and thinking, she's probably looking at me and saying, "Hey, Saf, relax. Yeah, life is okay. It will be okay." So you know what? I'm sure it will be fine. She fought a good fight. She tried, but in the end, it was really, really hard for her. Yeah. And I just pray that, you know, she's now in peace and she's, you know, flying with the angels, and we're all heading there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Wangari.
Yeah, thank you so much for that beautiful trip. Now I know the Coco she used to say. She used to mention you a lot. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I see another comment from Million had already spoken. Yes. He says, "One story I forgot. While we were in Norway, we were invited by a minister and talked with him. At the end of the talk, while we were getting up to leave, Wanjiku said to him, 'Thanks for the coffee.' he did not, of course, provide us with any coffee. He was so embarrassed. Yeah, so some sense of humor there from times that you shared. And I see that beautiful photo. Thank you so much, Anne, for sharing that. We'll put that in the collection. If any of you have any photos, soft copy, you can send them along. This one is beautiful. I think you were chasing the sunset somewhere, must have been in the evening. And I've already downloaded, and keep those coming. Thank you so much.
It was in the evening, and see, she's just fire there next to the fire.
Yeah, with her long locks, and yeah, I see her. Such a beautiful, beautiful memory. Thank you so much.
It was in South Africa actually, and we stayed there. We stayed there for 2 weeks.
Okay, beautiful.
Together. Talking,
Okay. Yeah, so anybody else who would like to say anything? I know there are some of us who are still silent. Maybe you're silent in solidarity. Feel free. There's no particular order. We still have about an hour or so. So I would like to take the floor now and just mention how you knew Wanjiku and what was her gift in your life, or gift. Do you know any songs she liked? What are the favorite phrases she would say? Feel free to share whatever you recall. I see a couple of people, but I don't want to call on anybody's name. If you want to say something, yes, Njuki, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Wangari and colleagues who are here on this call. My name is Njuki Lezo. I'm from Nanyuki as well, but I live in Nairobi. But Nanyuki is where I grew up in. I cherish Wanjiku very much. I met her really way back during the times when we were setting up the Eco Peace Museum with the late Kariuki Thuku. If you people remember, I think the people here know about diversity campaigns that they used to wage together, including the protection of Karimo Forest in Nyeri together with Kariuki. And Wanjiku was, and Kariuki and I were central in terms of establishing that museum that was there in Nyeri. It's still not very active, but Kariuki passed on as well, Kariuki Thuku. But that's the time I met Wanjiku, and that was around 2000 thereabouts. And then, and then we used to live in Nanyuki, and I think we were some of the people who inspired even her to come and settle in Nanyuki. Even in the piece of land that she built there, for instance, was looked in the circumstances of us living together around 2003, 2004, by a friend of us who was also a person of the mountains. And Wanjiku, when she came to Nanyuki and in our struggles, even in Nairobi, we marched together completing the struggle for human rights in Nanyuki town. But also we immersed ourselves much more in the struggles in the World Social Forum, Kenya Social Forum processes that Wanjiku was central, together with a colleague of ours who is passed, who is called Nganga Thiongo, and I know guys here know Nganga Thiongo, who was also afraid of us in the diversity campaigns then. And we immersed together with Wanjiku, and it went on like that until even when Kenya was asked to hold the World Social Forum, the first ones, in 2007, and we invited then the coordinator of the World Social Forum, who was called Onyango Law, to come to Nanyuki together with Wanjiku, and we went to Yaku. Yaku is a small community where Jennifer Koinante, I don't know whether she is here. She comes from, she introduced us to that community in Doldor area, like Laikipia North. where we were aging campaign for recognition of identity and language of the Yaku people. And Wanjiku was in that campaign. Wanjiku was that person who immersed herself so strongly in campaigns, and she never left those campaigns. And she was now so much strong in the campaign for the Yaku people, together with Jennifer Quinante, and she went on with that campaign very heavily. In fact, that's where we used to call her Wajikowa Yaku, meaning that she comes from the community of the Yaku people. Yaku is that community. And that's the same circumstances, just exploring also the forest because the Yaku people live in the forest. I remember going with her deep into the Yaku forest to explore the way of life of those people, to talk against the eviction of the Yaku people from the forest, because we thought that they belong to the forest, and they have never destroyed the forest before. And she has been involved in many other forest conservations in Kenya, including working closely with Wangari Maathai. I think those people might not know that Wangari Maathai, that Wanjiku worked closely even during the award of the Nobel Peace Prize for Wangari Maathai. Wanjiku was central into that organizing team that was like kind of a secretariat for Wangari Maathai. So she was central into it. And then when now Africa, I think AfriPad is recognizing the work together with Kariuki Dhuku and Mode Dhuku and people like Nganga Thiong'o. I think that's when she came and now settled completely within Province Sanctuary in Nanyuki. And she continued with the whole work that she was continuing, but also supporting us in varieties of struggles in Nanyuki town, but also in Nairobi. And I used to frequent, even when I'm in Nairobi and I go to visit her. I never miss a chance to go and visit her in a new place in Nanyuki town. The key thing that I remember so much, and I think that's why this network should be continued to maintain that heritage site for her, is that it was a 1 acre piece of land, but she showed us how biodiversity can be conserved within a single plot of land. She used to say that you don't have a big piece of, you don't have to have 10 and many acres of land, 5 or 20 or 30. Hers was only 1 acre of land, but you could find the immense biodiversity, this forest, the small forest there, the crops, the plants, the bees, the fireplace. You could find, she has built a place of refuge that for herself, but also for generations to come. And this is exactly what she inspired us even to set up those kind of places where we can be able to have refuge and retreat. And I think even when you spoke to her, she used to tell us, wherever you are, just create a site for biodiversity for yourself. Don't even bother coming here. You can create wherever you are, even if it's your plot. Everywhere you are, you can be able to do that and create that. And then, of course, the last time that because Nanyuki is my home, and when I come, I used to go there. I even go there now frequently. Last time I think I saw her about a month ago, together with Lamin. I don't know whether Lamin Kimathi is in this call, and we spent an evening with her. Then she was quite unwell, but there's nothing we could do because it's a journey of life. So we took her, but she was also very strong. But I remember when we wanted to hold a reflection on the struggles for ecological justice in this country, and linking them up with the struggles for resistance for the Mau Mau and bad governance in this country. And we wanted to remember through reflection of Kariuki Dhuku and Nganga Thiong'o. We went with some activists on Kimathi Day to Wanjiku's place, in Sanctuary Nanyuki town. And she welcomed us so much. We spent 3 or 4 days there. We reflected so much. We had some discussions. And the key discussion we are thinking about is how do we then involve heavily the members of the community to be able to take on the ideas that Wanjiku was pursuing, the neighborhood farms. She was supporting them in a big way. But how will many more farms take idea of conservation, and how we live and set up a community radio, maybe a resource center, build a retreat center for many places. And we had big ideas. The only thing that we didn't do was to pursue those ideas to fruition, because of apparent sickness that she came to do that later. But the Pauline Sanctuary itself, the house that she built was a house of comradeship. We would go there, we would not pay actually unless we want you to give a token of appreciation. She will not even bother with that token of appreciation. We used to go 5 or 6 people would sleep there. And I would tell everyone who is going to Nyuki, including Nyambura. I don't know whether Nyambura is here. I told her that if you go to Nyuki and you are close to Mwereri, just visit and drop by and see what Wanjiku is trying to do. And she was open there for all of us. And then she would inspire. And then we had the bonfire and we talk a lot of issues. And you come from that place feeling rejuvenated. So Wanjiku was close in terms of a friend, as a comrade for many years. But also her goals for the ecological goals and environment and the things that she talked about have not been realized full. I think generations to come, even beyond my generation, will be able to solve those kind of issues. And I think this is what this group can continue, that we don't lose that, because I know we have organizations that we talk about. I know we run organizations ourselves. We are activists in our own right. But I think we need to continue not letting the structure that people set up just go to waste, but to be able to conserve them and continue with the legacy. Whether she's gone or not, we should continue with that. And I have told, of late, since she passed on, her sister, who is called Nyambura, I don't know even Nyambura is here, or even her daughter Esther. But I have been telling Nyambura that the key thing for us is then that she's gone, how do the dreams of Pauline Sanctuary continue? The rich library she has, the books, how do we maintain them? How do we maintain the resource center? How do we create the dreams of online presence? How do we continue that dreams? It becomes not only a place for home, but also becomes a place for legacy of herself. And I think this is exactly what we talk about. I think even Nyambura would know that we have suggested her to belong to a site where we immortalize legacies of patriots. We call them Shujaa Heritage Archives, which now definitely she will be one of the annals of that legacy. And this is exactly what you can do to do. So for all of you, I think, who are here and many more, I think we appreciate the small things that we do in this world matters a lot, but also the point of legacy that we live in this world also matters a lot. And thank you so much, Wangari, for organizing this. And thank you all. Thank you.
Wow, what a beautiful tribute. It felt more than just the retelling. I could actually vividly move with you through all of these different things you were describing. And I think you are one of those people who have known Wanjiku for close to 20 years, from early 2000s, working quite closely, and it makes a difference. You're also here representing Shujaa Heritage, because recently a contingent of us, human rights, social justice movement members, we have nominated Wanjiku to the role of honor. So how it happens is, if anybody thinks that somebody has been of personal or national significance in the struggles of the people and contributed patriotically to people's lives, then we list these people, and she's now ascended into the role of honor. That's a very significant feat. And there are big names. As you know, Kenya is also a land full of lots and lots of champions who have championed all sorts of causes. And Wanjiku now has not been contested. We've all agreed here that she is actually a Shujaa, and that's, I think, the highest honor that the Shujaa Heritage platform has done for her. So thank you so much, Njuki. And it's really amazing how you retell all of these different things that, including her dreams, what she was foreseeing for the future. I think we have the right team here, and at the right time, we will be having formations of, structuring around. A lot of people have mentioned TT, or, a long-term kind of an idea so that it's not the end. It's not the end. The funeral is not the end. We also know that families struggle a lot, especially after the funeral. So we don't just want to leave them and have them feel the pain and the loneliness. We also want to still converge. So thank you so much for that suggestion. So I see we are at the top of the hour, but we still have another hour. If anybody else, I see a few people here who have not spoken, so feel free. Njoki, you wanted to add something? Welcome. Oh, I think you are just unmuting. All right. Who else wants to contribute? If you want to type in the chat or also, I'm seeing someone is sharing a file. Thank you, Modani Morio. Wow, beautiful photos there. Really amazing. So I'm trying to save them on my computer and hopefully we'll be able to share with the person doing media with us. I try to share with the name of the person who has contributed the photo so we can trace back if we have any questions. This is a very beautiful photo. Thank you. All right. Anybody else wants to say something?
So, Dr. Wangari, I can say something.
Yes, welcome.
Yes. So my name is Modani Moreu. We, with Ivy and others that I see here, we were in high school together. I met Wanjiku when we were 13. Yeah, we were about 13. So have known her a very long time. And this picture was taken when she was on her way to Safia for her treatment. Wanjiku, yes, was an amazing soul, really different because she was not afraid to wear her heart on her sleeve. She lived her passion. And so those who are her university mates will remember the trips they used to take, sort of climbing Mount Longonot, going on these trips to visit different places that were environmental, to learn about our environment and ecosystem. And I remember when she went to England, she worked for an NGO, I think it was called Trees for Life, for an environmental NGO. And she, almost by diffusion, she encouraged and entranced everybody who met her with the story about nature, to learn to slow down, to see the things around you, to really appreciate. And I know people have talked about how she would immediately bring the environment or the ecosystem into conversations. She, very early on, she was talking about medicinal plants. And for me, she also had another side, and it's one that hasn't really been mentioned. But when we were in high school, I remember I was so fascinated by her because not only did she play tennis very well, but she also had musical talent. So she played the piano, she played the guitar. I think somebody did mention her serenading colleagues on a trip, I think to Botswana or something. So she had this musical side, and she introduced me to musical opera. So she introduced me to Lloyd Webber, to the Phantom of the Opera, and all those musicals. And together we sort of shared this thing. I'm sure she shared it with other people, but for me, it's one of the things, one of the more vivid memories I have, especially of listening to the Phantom of the Opera in her lovely apartment in Westlands. The other memory that I have of Wanjiku is similar to what Safia shared, which was you may not see each other for a while, but when you meet, you continue the conversation that you left off. You'll just, say the first hi, etc. And then a conversation just continues from wherever it left off, or you start a new thread. And I think that speaks to the humanity or the humanness that Wanjiku brought into a space where she was very centered, very real, very present. And I'll end with that one of the things that she always used to talk about was the importance of being grounded and being present. And in the lovely reflections and tributes that everybody is making today, I think that comes through very, very clearly. She'll be very sorely missed. We, deep sympathies for her lovely daughter, Shiko, and for the rest of her family's condolences, and all of you friends, of course, because we are all grieving and we will miss a friend and a hero. So thank you.
Wow, those are many decades from when you were 13.
Oh, yeah. Actually, let me share one last thing.
Sure.
I was just reading her last text. So I just turned 60, and I said to her, I want to plant 60,000 trees. And the way, so we talked about it. She said they have to be indigenous trees. And she planted a tree for me. She showed me these other trees that she had planted for some of her friends. And then, she sent me all this list of indigenous trees that grow in the area of Laikipia. And so, we had sort of worked out how to plant 60,000 trees, which was you get 6 friends to plant a tree each and ask them to ask 6 friends to plant a tree each. So that it's a little project that'll take a long time, but that was my idea. I wanted 60,000 trees. And in that conversation, at some point I saw in the thread, she says, I am gagging for a 60-year a wedding with 60-year-olds. So she was saying that she's gagging for one of us to get married so that she can go to a wedding with her peers who are at the fore and not necessarily relegated to sitting on tables for elders. So her sense of humor came through right there. Thank you, and thank you for organizing this.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So there's still quite some things to be done, weddings to be had and trees to be planted.
Yes,
and that's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was so full of life. I'm gathering a lot of her character coming through from your narration. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full of life. Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks, Safia, for sharing that photo. These are beautiful memories. So anybody else who wants to say something? We have about 50 minutes, so take your time.
Hi, Dr. Wangari. Hi, hi everybody.
Hi.
My name is Martha Wareithi, and like some have spoken here, I'm a friend of Wanjiku's. I think we've known each other for, I could say, almost like 25 years. We've had a lot of adventures. We did London together. We even lived together at some point. I want to associate myself with a lot of the things that have been said about Wanjiku, especially her personality. And I think it really came through, you know, her radiant beauty, her energy, her go-getter attitude, and everything to do with, we can get this done. I can say it's been really refreshing hearing about Wanjiku's career in environment. I think when we met, she was in information technology in those days when computers were new. The picture that Mo shared just now actually was in my house. I hosted a farewell get together for her as she went off to meet Safia. So the best memories I have of Wanjiku is, of course, we know Wanjiku loved deeply. She was, everything she did with a lot of gusto and energy. I think meeting her family, sharing our parents together in happy times and in challenging times. When Wanjiku got unwell, I think I speak for many of us, we hadn't heard a lot about Bell's palsy. Today, I know more than maybe I ever thought I would know about this disease that challenged our friend for a long time. We give thanks, of course, to Safi and the team in India for the efforts they made. All I can say is fare thee well, Wanjiku, you know, may God give her rest, may God give her peace, and to all of us to carry the lessons we learned from Wanjiku. Thanks again.
Oh, wow. So amazing. I'm so challenged. Friends of 25 years. My goodness, what am I doing with my life? This is amazing. Yeah, I agree. She was a radiant beauty and a go-getter. I had no idea she had a stint with IT. So she must have been very forward thinking, going to every new innovation and invention. She was really ahead of a lot of us, our times. Yeah, I was just admiring the lovely photos that Safia is sharing. Keep them coming. They're so amazing. Thank you so much, Martha, for that beautiful tribute. May her soul rest in everlasting peace. There are still more people coming in, so this is good. We are having a meeting, people streaming in and out whenever they want, and anybody who wants to say something. Yes, Modoni, your hand is up again. Welcome.
No, that's an old hand. I'm figuring out how to put it down
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm on a cell phone. Okay.
That's fine. I see Ruth Kamal has unmuted. Welcome.
Oh, hi everyone. I actually unmuted by mistake, but since I'm here, I just want to say that it's really good to hear the stories that are being shared about Kuku. I'm Janet Kamal's sister, and so I got to know Kuku through my late sister, and Kuku was just a bag of laughs. That's all I can say. And she was extremely loving. And we were talking about her with my sisters, and my elder sister was saying that Kuku became like a sibling to her, you know, and she could show up at her house and we didn't have to be there, and her and Grace would just have a good afternoon together or whatever it was that needed to be, you know, what the visit time was. So I also, it's just wonderful to see the love that has come through for Kuku from all her friends from LGS, because that's when I met her. It's so wonderful to see the kinship that the LGS group maintains. And I just want to celebrate what you're all doing, because I think it feeds all of you and will bless all of you, because this is a journey we all must take. And so thank you for organizing this for Kuku. And you know, and I join you in grieving the special person that we have lost and the unique contribution she was making to the community and to nature and to the world in general. But we've also lost a dear sister, and may the Lord rest her in peace. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. I believe LGS is the Moral Gap. if I'm not wrong, right? Yeah, thank you so much. Such a lovely, amazing community there. All right, anybody else wants to say something? Yeah, as we are still thinking about who's going to go next, I just wanted to say I did experience a sense of her global exotic tastes and a very deeply indigenous rootedness. So that was really unique and quite a lovely pattern that someone can have all of that together, you know, having gone all over the world and also really, really deeply connected to what is more indigenous. I think that was very interesting in my observations, the short time I spent with her. Anybody else wants to say anything? What songs did she like? I had asked that earlier. What food did she like? And which kinds of stories made you laugh when she was being humorous?
Yeah,
Welcome.
Wangari, now that you've kept quiet and I see there's no one who is coming on, I think you've asked about the kind of music that she used to like. But I remember the last time that we spent with her a long time. That night we played a lot of the records upon records of Kamaru. Kamaru was a Koyo musician who passed almost the same time that Wanjiku was when we went with Wanjiku, and we spent the entire night. I think we slept at our place with some friends, but we played a lot of the Koyo songs, Kamaru, but also Mau songs that time. And she used to like these kind of songs of resistance and struggle. But apparently, in terms of food, I think even the last almost about 2 weeks, I went to see her. She would insist that you're coming from town, just come with more this the arrowroots, of course, ndoma, guache, indigenous foods, and even indigenous beans. She would even tell you specifically where you'd go to, which shop in town. You'd go in Nanyuki town, you'd go and buy beans. You'd buy some other some seeds she was using the marketplace, and I think she was keen on indigenous foods. Rarely would you find foods like, for example, the ones that we take, processed foods or even breads, was very rare. Of course, she going to her house that is in Wereri, in Nanyuki town. You'll find all kinds of concoctions of herbs. I think I've learned a kitchen from her where you have lots and lots of natural foods, but also lots of natural herbs all over. But also the quality that you don't have to buy these things, you have to plant it within yourself. And I said planting it within ourselves. I said earlier that it doesn't have to be acres of land. Hers was 1 acre, and she did remarkable work of planting things on that small acre of land. That's one thing that we keep on reflecting in terms of our innovations, our food, our music. But one of the things also that we cannot forget is that we go to peasant villages, neighborhoods that are poor, like our home in Wereri is a peasant neighborhood where there was a lot of small-scale farmers who are not well off financially. And sometimes, coming from a middle class background, sometimes we go to such regions and we don't really even appreciate or even mingle with the people who are in the neighborhoods. Wanjiku's house was almost an open place for neighbors. And these neighbors, they would spend whole afternoons speaking. Neighbors, sometimes you could not even invite sometimes in our middle class neighborhoods or even homes. They would come with the way they are, coming from their farms, with their clothes, they are coming from their farms, coming from harvesting honey, coming from tilling the land. I don't remember the names of the two people I met there, but we used to meet them and we would talk a lot of issues with those kind of peoples. And even she would go in the neighborhoods and talk a lot with the people. In the shopping center itself was a common feature for her. The common feature of Mereri, she was well known. And even now, if you ask about several people, call people in Mereri, and they tell me, oh yeah, we'll be going and seeing her. We had, she passed on. In other words, the capacity for us to be able to mingle and appreciate every person, whoever you are and whoever status that you are in. And that is what I would add as I remember other tidbits that I can talk about Wanjiku, which continue singing in peace.
Wow, I really like the part for she knew exactly which shop, and it was definitely arrowroot, taro, sweet potato, beans, very specific on even which variety of beans, and definitely a very healthy eater. I saw her the first time I saw her shelf full of herbs and spices. I was aghast. I was completely surprised. I thought I had a lot of spices in my kitchen, but she was really, and she cooked really good food too. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I also enjoyed a lot of the Camaro, the songs you're calling of resistance. I also call them social consciousness songs, a lot of Mau Mau type of, warrior songs. And yeah, and the idea that she crossed the divide and across very many socioeconomic levels. That's very rare to find. It's a rare breed of a person. Thank you so much for that. I'm seeing the photos. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm seeing really lovely photos, and I'd like to get more context. I'm just like, okay, first year in University of Nairobi. Oh my goodness, that is when she had just joined college. Okay, amazing. You have the entire across the years photos. So sweet. Anybody else who wants to speak? And then maybe we could shift gears, and if any of you have your candles ready, anything that has symbolic meaning, we could do an embodiment exercise as we wrap up towards the top of the hour, but we still have time to still comment. The idea of, just cherishing her memory as a naturalist and getting us all united in spirit, even as those of us who will be able to go to Nanyuki on Wednesday, we will do that. And those of us who will not, we can keep up with the convenings and the conversation. Yeah, was there anybody who wanted to add something? There's a sort of beauty in communal silence where you can just sit and be with each other. The only thing is, of course, I cannot see all of your videos on Zoom, and that's okay. But I feel like this is what Wanjiku has done. She's brought us all, some of us strangers to each other, some of us known to each other. She's brought us all together tonight. So we honor her. A couple of us had some ideas of meeting in town, but it has been increasingly difficult to have physical meetings in the evenings nowadays in Nairobi. So this was a good suggestion. And thank you for those who thought of this idea. Yeah, there's quite a lot of comments in the chat. So another photo of her consultant days. Wow. And then Modiga, African Green Hat, the tree she planted to start the 60,000. That's a challenge we should take up. So if we are about 16 people on this chart, or around about 20, because there are more people who came and left, and there are 60,000 trees. So each one of us knows pretty much, if you can do the math, how many trees you have to plant. So we take off that, lift off the carbon debt, and that's something we can do in her honor, because she was in her 60s. She was actually 60, right? So if each of us planted 3,000 or caused 3,000 trees to be planted, then we will have accomplished her wish. So maybe just some suggestions on those ideas. I definitely will be speaking with any of, I don't know if we have any of the Porini board members. I don't know who they are. Definitely will be conversing with the family. Let's see what we can do. Oh, such lovely photos. Keep them coming. And then we should have sort of a group of those who would like to be spearheading that process to continue. I don't think we should stop just because, you know, the funeral is the day after tomorrow. So let's think about it. Let's think about some of those ideas that are more practical also. Wanjiku was not the kind to sit in a meeting and blow hot air. So she was the kind who would be doing something and who would quite metaphorically get you off your behind and moving and doing stuff. So we also want to emulate that aspect of the practicality of the kinds of transformation she brought. Thank you, Terry Little, for that amazing collection there. When I first met Wanjiku, Christmas 2007. Wow, it just looks like the other day. Amazing. And I see the tree. Thank you, Modoni. Such amazing photos. Unbelievable. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm trying to download all of them and see if I can at least label them. Yeah. So do we have any other? Just unmute and speak. Do you want to say something? Modoni Morio says, with my mom at Brackenhurst Limuru Conference Center, she had friends across the generations. Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much. Keep those coming. So many more people are joining us. So welcome. If you've just come in, we've been here for about 1.5 hours now, and we'll be topping it up. Shortly, we'll be switching gears into some reflections on what we can do together. At least we've all agreed we can consider the challenge to plant trees. And since we are 20 and we need 60,000, each of us can take at least 3,000 trees. Do we all think it's doable? Do you think you can plant a tree near you? If you live in a concrete jungle like me, just try to get somewhere where you can get some soil and water your tree. Any objections? Okay, I don't see any objections. I think we are all agreeable. Good. So I think at this point, and it's only because of I'm not seeing anybody else who would like to say something. I'd like to give one last round. If anybody wants to talk, just unmute. We are not many. Say, give your tributes. If you're not able to speak, you can just type in the chat. I think it would be nice now for us to.
Is there?
Yeah, welcome, Juki. Yes.
Is there anyone here who lives in Nanyuki apart from Alami? I'm wondering because the key continuation of our dreams at Porini Trust will, of course, I live in Nanyuki. I go to Nanyuki frequently, so I think I will be involved as well. But I was thinking also, if we don't have board members of Porini Trust here, I remember the last time we were talking with her, Porini board members were international. I think there was people from Ethiopia, many others. I think that will be continuation of our legacy within Porini Trust itself, because Porini Trust as an organization can do a lot in terms of continuing her legacy. not even beyond the house, but also within the environment, within the area that she operated from. So if there's one from Nanyuki town, I think when Wangari, you come from there as well, we can always link up forces with you. If any other friends would like to come in, I think that would be a good idea for us to, even beyond arresting on Wednesday. I think we can link up together.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we will be confirming these things, with the family and see whether we can locate anybody. I don't happen to know who are the members of the trust, but that's a really good idea. Yeah. So the end is just the beginning. So we really need to take that challenge on. It's actually for our benefit. Any issues on climate change really is about all of humanity. So we just have to do it as a matter of trust. As many of you may know, even the population of bees in the world is currently an endangered species. So for her, being a bee custodian was very critical to that entire ecosystem food chain. And we do need more and more people being bee custodians, and we get to distinguish being a bee custodian from just merely a beekeeper. She was a custodian, she said. Those are some of the things we have to pass down to the next generation. Without bees, we don't pollinate flowers, and without flowers, we don't have food. So it's that simple. So we really have to take on that challenge. Thank you so much for that nudge. We do need a level of structure and organization. So yeah, we will do that. Kananu says, Wanjiku got me to purchase a shamba in Nanyuki. Oh my goodness. So Njuki, please sign me up. I really loved the way she was just a force of nature. Just complete transformation everywhere she goes, like a hurricane, It's amazing. So there you are. You have one person enlisted. We'll be getting more and more people, as we go along. Wow, celebrating promulgation of Kenyan Constitution. Terry, did you send that last photo? Which one was that one for the promulgation? Let me see. I'm trying to label all these photos. I don't think you've sent the last one on the promulgation, or it hasn't come on my end. Maybe it's coming. Okay. And somebody else says, Jerry says, I'm a frequent visitor to Nanyuki. Yeah, Nanyuki is just 3 hours away from Nairobi. It's on the slopes of Mount Kenya. So those of us who are in Nairobi, it won't be a problem. And even if you are not in Kenya, one of the challenges he gave us is to do it wherever we are. So some of what can be continued globally can be done in every corner, which is what she would love. Then some of what can be done on site, on location, can be done with those who will be there. So that will work for us. Wonderful. So I'd like us, if you have your candle, yeah, thank you so much. I like the challenge. Njuki, I think you are a stronger leader than I am. I'm just learning the ropes from you. You say, Wangari, please organize us after this. I will have to take a lot of mentorship from you and a lot of great leaders here today. I've met quite a number of people who worked with Wanjiku. I'll be happy to support in whatever level. And I'll also be happy to hand over to whoever feels that they can actually lead the structures around how we can all get together. I mean, today we are in a Zoom room. We've never met, and it's all courtesy of Wanjiku. So this is amazing. Thank you for that challenge. All right. So now let us, if you have your candle, if you have your memento, if you have your symbol, you can just type in the chat. If you have a memory, if you could describe in a metaphor, just as we are winding up, if you could put one word, I know it's difficult to put in one word what you think Wanjiku was for you, what would it be? So I already saw that Safia mentioned she had a candle and incense that she's burning. That's so amazing. Thank you for making the space sacred for us. We're inviting, good positive energy into the space. And I'd like to know, if you'd put a metaphor, what was Wanjiku? What could she compare with? Which item or which totem or which animal or which plant Actually, you could even talk about which plant do you think you can say Wanjiku was like. So feel free to type in the chat. This is our way of signing off, finishing off our meeting today. Ivy Moai says, fierce warrior woman. Yeah, so I can almost like see her with a spear, you know, the way you had described the belts and the headgear and the, you know, and her spirit itself and the demeanor she had. Yeah, totally see that. The fierce warrior woman. Yeah, thank you so much. Anybody else? You can type in the chat, you can unmute. Effervescent. Wow. Yes, Ruth Kamau, effervescent, like bubbling. Is that like more like bubbling? Was she like always popping ideas? Is that more like bubble wrap, or how does it work? Ruth, maybe you can explain the effervescent. If you don't mind. You can just unmute, Ruth. Ruth, come out. Let me send you the prompt to unmute. Are you able to unmute now? Yes.
Hi, I have unmuted, but I was explaining, I just typed really slowly.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was just saying that she was, Wanjiku always was energetic to me, very full of life and laughter. She had a zest for life. When I did my plays, she was my stage hand, even though she was like an older sister to me, because she loved the idea of mucking around and, you know, just getting things done. So that's how I remember her, effervescent. And I live in Cape Town, and when I caught up with her when she was in hospital and after she left hospital a couple of times, we would just start by laughing. You know, it just takes you to a space and time when you just were very joyful. Thank you.
Yeah, we all agreed. That was definitely in her character. Zest, energy, full of life, laughter, humor. Yeah, totally got that. Thank you. Then I have Kananu says a bee, a honeybee. I think she must have been the queen bee in the what do you call it, in the hive. What do you think, Kananu? Which kind of bee was she? The worker bee or the soldier bee or the queen bee or the male bee? I think she was the queen bee. Yeah, then we have Modoni Warrior says our environmental conscience. Yes, for sure. She was definitely the heartbeat for naturalists. And she used to talk about trees talking, and she would be like, trees have a spirit. And I was just like, wow, she really was one with nature. Yeah. Helena, thank you for being here. Burning incense. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. And Wanjiku was a butterfly. Wow, that's quite deep because butterflies do metamorphosize, and butterflies are beautiful. They have all these different colors. Yeah, thank you for that metaphor. Ruth, yeah, just explaining the effervescent there. Then Terry Little says generous in spirit. Yeah, I agree. She was a wellspring. She was just a giver. And it's so unfortunate that people like her who give and are really good-hearted and have done so much for so many people at the time of need. You know, we all wish we could have done more, but I guess her time was up, and this is the way of mortals. We shall all go through it. So yeah, she was very generous. I agree. And Juke Geteta says, honey trail. Every time I see a bee, I remember her. Oh, wow, that is super. Yeah, because even Porini Sanctuary is actually a Porini nature trail. And yeah, she definitely was a honey trail. Sophia Robinson says, bold and adventurous. At one time, she told us a story of living inside of a termite hill. And that story sounded almost bizarre. And then she opens up this store where she used to keep her stuff. And then there's a huge termite mound that's inside of the room, but it's right in the middle because the floor was earth. And she said she lived in there with the termites, just quite something else. She was something else. Zoma Etemesi says, to me, she was a chain of connection. Oh, wow, super. So like a nexus, she was really like, you know, a network, a web. You come around her and you happen to meet all of these people, courtesy of her, including even posthumously now, she has connected us all here together. Thanks for that, Zuma. Kananu says, yes, gosh. She could be any bee needed in any given situation. So you have the queen bee, the soldier bee, the male bees, and all the other bees, the worker bees. She's all kinds of bees. Yeah. And she was a bee also in her character of doing quite a lot of things in such a short time, transforming everything around her. I still remember the first time I went to visit her, and we went straight to a nursery and got a seedling. And I was wondering what was going on. And there we were. We were, by the end of the evening, we had already planted some trees. It was so amazing. And this was seedlings just from across her neighborhood, from her neighbor's place. iPhone, I don't know what your real name is. Maybe you can tell us. Lover of nature. Yes, that is so true. She was a lover of nature. Kureba David. Wanjiku was a well-stocked library, now banned. Yeah, very, very, very poignant. Thank you so much, David, for that. Yeah. Her wisdom just completely gone with, you know, all of the things she would have wanted to say to each one of us. Now we are left with the impressions of what she could have said and the memories, and at least her vision was very clear to us. So it's just very sad we get to lose the entire legacy of all of the things from her, from, you know, from what she could have said today. Thank you. Sarah Mutisa says, vivacious, full of vitality. Yes, yes, I agree. Energy, vitality, you know, that was definitely a character strength. And she lit up the room everywhere she went. She seems to have a way to be the life of a party and just make everybody at ease. I met her and it occurred to me as if we had known each other. And that was really strange. You know, you meet someone, she's a stranger, but it's just this connection that you feel completely at home and that nothing's missing. And we are all just happy as common humanity. That was a very profound way she touched people. Thank you so much for those metaphors. Keep them coming. For those who are coming in, we are just wrapping up. If you have any elements of nature, any objects, if you have lit a candle, I could have lit a candle because my house is still dark. There's no electricity. That would have been nice. And if you want to use any other embodiment of an object or a metaphor to explain your experience of Wanjiku as a gift to you, feel free to join in. I don't know if there's any, I have not read. Okay, Keith Masharia says, a vibrant polymath who saw beyond the veil. Yes, yes, for sure. She was definitely doing quite a number of different things, and she really, really talked straight. She was quite congruent and genuine. She was a straight talker, you know. She wouldn't mince her words about what she really cares about. So I agree. She really did see beyond the veil. I think people who have really amazing, huge visions for communities, for nations, for the world, and who leave the challenge on others, you know, and when they go ahead of us, you know, those people really inspire us. We know the work is not yet done. We still have a lot more work to do to conserve and to cherish nature around us and to take care of nature. So it's really a big challenge to all of us. I'm definitely touched, moved, and inspired by this kind of sharing tonight. Okay, Does anybody have any poem, song, dedications, prayer, or Thanksgiving? I think it will be really in order for us to totally give our appreciation to the family. They took care of her amazingly. Her daughter has done amazingly well, taking care of her almost single-handedly, because all of us could not be there with her all the time, you know. I think that's really the family. We need to really thank them, and you, close friends who stayed on until the last day. You know, the last conversation I had with Wanjiku on phone, her voice was still as strong. It didn't occur to me I would never see her. And she was telling me that I need to tell her about an app that I had gotten from a friend, where she really wanted all the plants and all the trees that are indigenous put up in a place that they can be easily located. And she had already envisioned an app. Luckily, there were already innovators who are already doing this work. And I just happened to bump into one of my former classmates, and I was going to tell her that I found this person who has the app, and I know she would be beaming. I know she would be so happy. And unfortunately, that conversation did not happen. So that was the last, you know, conversation I had with Wanjiku. She kept saying we need a place to serialize and to index and to classify and to kind of put out to the world a map of where all the indigenous plants and trees are, and what their uses are, and all of their different names, and, you know, so that people get to see them, because she was lamenting that a lot of the peasant farmers around her did not have enough markets for their seedlings. The seedlings would be overgrowing, yet we have places where we need trees. And so those were some of the wishes she had, you know. NM says she was a beautiful soul, very knowledgeable, deeply enlightened. Yeah, a great spiritual mentor. She taught my son how to whistle. Oh, wow. So amazing. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much, NM. So if we do not have any other, oh, here we go. Here we have more. Sophia Robinson, my epiphany. It came to me that if we grow more trees, we can prevent opportunistic airborne viruses and bacteria, as trees clean out air. So trees clean our air. We clean and sanitize and wear masks. We shower, we clean our houses and cars. But what cleans our air? Yeah, trees predominantly, especially our indigenous trees. We can be all cleaned out, but if the air is polluted, even the newborn baby who does not come into this world wearing a mask is immediately dipped into this murky world on their first breath. So profound. So let's do it tree by tree. We have plenty of cleaning to do for our air that binds us all together. Sharing that on behalf of Mother. This was from Wanjiku. Oh, super. I found this in a WhatsApp, January 2022. Wanjiku sent it to me. So amazing. Yeah, we definitely have to take up that challenge. And we just have to locate, I think we've all agreed, each one of us has about 3,000 trees from this call. If you can hit that target by a certain date, and you don't have to do it alone, you can send out contingents of your friends, family. I know now young people who are coming together and just fundraising and going on these tree planting missions, and we just have to do that to salvage the situation. Thank you so much for that, all that sharing. So we still have a couple of minutes. Any other comments? Thanksgiving, I was just about to continue the vote of thanks.
Dr. Wangari, can I?
Yes, sure.
Can I pipe in? This is Modani again. So I love the idea of the 60,000 trees coming to life. I wanted to edit your request so that people are not scared of it. 3,000 sounds like a lot of trees, but if each of us plants just 6 trees, wherever you are, you can even get a nursery to maybe plant for you. And if you ask 6 of your friends to also plant 6 trees, that's it. And then they should pass it on, ask 6 other friends. already it will, the math will start mathing. So if we all just plant 6 trees over the next year and ask 6 people to plant 6 trees and pass it on, I think we can get to the 60,000, and it's completely doable.
Really, really like that. Pass it on, pass it forward. That makes it actually palatable. Now that is doable. Yeah, thanks for that. We should probably just encourage each other, and on this platform, keep it up and just cheer each other on. We have a WhatsApp group. If any of you saw this message from another WhatsApp group, we do have a WhatsApp group. So if you want to join in, just feel free to share your contact, then we will add you. And yeah, I really like that idea. We should spy each other on and just really make it happen. Thank you.
Sorry, hi, this is Helena.
Welcome.
Thank you. And by the way, I just want to say you're doing a great job moderating this forum. Yeah, you're doing a great job, and thank you. For me, I don't know where to start. There's so much about Wanjiku that I remember, and you know, my heart, I think, is still aching from her loss. To me, she was not just a friend, but like a big sister. Whenever I was in a bit of a quagmire, I would call her and I would just tell her, look, this and this is happening. And she would just say, oh, it's so simple, just do this. And I'm like, yeah, why did I think of that? And just tell me, just keep moving and give me so much strength. And when I went to see her in hospital when she was in Rongai, I reminded her about that because I just broke down. I was like, what happened? And I broke down, like Martha was saying, the last time I saw her was actually at her farewell when she was going to India. And then the next time I see her was in Rongai. And I mean, I was just in shock, and I just cried and I told her, you're not going out like this. You're gonna live, and you need to live. And you need to get the strength from your baby to back up all the way in your body, and you need to just get out of this hospital and out of this bed. Because that's what she was to me. I was very weak at times, and I would call her and she would, you know, just give me some strength. Yeah, I get very emotional, but anyway, even when I went to see her, she took me to Mount Kenya. I've never been close to Mount Kenya. We went to the forest, we went to the river, we prayed, we drank the water, we picked flowers, we walked and talked about flowers. Yeah, I went to see her when she was in the tea factory. I don't know what she was doing there, but took us and we saw tea and we bought tea and we drank tea and she told me about tea. I mean, it was just like a walking encyclopedia to me. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop there because I could go on and yeah, I've lost a sister. But thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helena. And it's okay. We are all, you know, with you in the grief, and it's painful, and we really will be moving forward. We say we don't move on from grief, we move forward with it. And we are also saying we'll make it count. We'll make it count that Wanjiku impacted us so deeply that we cannot just sit and do nothing about it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I really would like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you, close family, close friends, and across the world for in every one of us little ways, just really being there for Wanjiku during the time when she really needed us. And for those of us who only got to hear about it more recently, we still have that challenge. We still have quite a bit of ground to cover. So this is a time where we can come together in solidarity, and you can actually claim affinity to Wanjiku here in this group and get to work with any one of us here. So feel free to connect and to let's also check on each other even during the grief. As I was saying earlier, sometimes it's after the funeral that people really, grief is just like a misplaced dining table that's sitting in another part of the house. And, you know, over time, people do settle into the fact that she's not there in person, but she's with us in spirit. So let's take on all of this legacy and build it and grow it. Thank you, everybody. Does anybody have any closing comments? We have about 4 minutes, so we are doing very well with time. And thank you all for being such a lovely audience today. All right, it seems like nobody has anything else to say. Yeah, thank you so much. And Ivy says, great being with you all this evening or morning, depending on where you are. Thank you, Dr. Wangari, for the wonderful job of keeping us talking or sharing. Yeah, I thought about what's the little thing I can do. Most of you have met and spent more time with Wanjiku than I have. I can count, I think, on my fingers, just a couple of maybe 5 times I met her and spoke with her, but I thought, what can I do? I have a Zoom room, so let's see, for those of us who are in diaspora or who may not even manage to come on Wednesday to grieve together, let's see what we can do. So I'll be happy to have more and more of us taking on this initiative, including virtual spaces, including, you know, in-person physical spaces. So I'll be happy to take any kind of sharing. I do want to share across this leadership too, so that we have more of us helping, especially with structuring the way forward. I think that's a good place to leave it. Like, we really need to think about, you know, what can we do going forward. So yeah, I thought anything I could do, I'll be of service here. Thank you so much for the comments, and you say, well done. You've been phenomenal this evening. Great idea. Wanjiku is smiling. Thanks, Mother. Thanks for the photos. Keep them coming. Even in the WhatsApp group, you can share them. We'll alert the media team for him or her to compile all these things together, so that this is a very beautiful tribute for her children, her grandchildren, and anybody else who would like to, you know, keep alive this as I like what Njuki called it, a heritage site, you know, a physical place where people will learn not only about her work, but also about her as a person. So amazing, very well done, everybody. So many more people joining still. So let's see who's coming in. This was a free to join, free to leave meeting, but you've all been here and patient the whole time. We really, really appreciate. For those coming in, we've had an amazing 2 hours. I hope you didn't confuse the time zone, but we welcome you, Esther and Lucy Kefogo. So we've just been having tributes, a free, wonderful meeting. If you want to say something as we close in about a minute, Lucy, welcome, and then Esther.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are just sharing anything we knew about Wanjiku and any tribute.
Okay. Now, what do I have to share? I met Wanjiku how many years ago through Dan Mwangi. Dan had kept telling Wanjiku that, I have a friend who is just like you. This was like 15 years ago. And the minute we met, that's it. We actually clicked. Dan was so right. Birds of a feather kabisa. So it was a good meeting. I mean, Dan did us a favor by introducing us.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Oh,
go on.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, good. Yeah, so that's how I met Wanjiku. And yeah, many years later, you know, the friendship hasn't died, but yeah, I guess we've called it a day to each other. until we meet again.
Wow. So amazing. 15 years. Amazing. All right. Esther, do you want to say anything? Let me send you the prompt to unmute. I'm just calling on you because you came in case you have something to say. All right. Very well. So I would like us to do this again. Let us know. I know tomorrow most of us will be sleeping quite early because we will be quite early on Wednesday. We will be arriving in Nanyuki at 8 a.m. So I know tomorrow evening may not be ideal for such a meeting, but I guess we could keep up the conversation on when else to meet again. Should we have a meeting after Wednesday, maybe on Thursday or Friday, or should we then get people who can lead up the structures for the way forward? I think that would be useful. So I'm leaving that open. I had just volunteered for the beginning, and I'm happy to get more hands on deck. Thank you so much. Donnie says, thank you. This was comforting. Please send the link where we can see the send pictures. Okay. So I think if you are in the WhatsApp group, you can just upload them there. We'll have the person who is able to download do that. I didn't have any link unless you want to create a Google Drive and share. And I had not yet asked about the logistics for that. Joke says, remarkable job, great moderation. Wanjiko's legacy continues in souls as yourself. Well done, Asante Sana. Yeah, Wanjiko was my mentor, so anything for her. Great, thank you so much, everyone. And have a good night or day.
Good night.
Okay. All right, bye. I'm just going to, there are more people coming in. This is amazing. I'm just going to be downloading these photos as you are sending them, and then hopefully we'll compile all of them.
Thank you very much for your input. Apologies for coming in late.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, this was a free-for-all, just laid back meeting, virtual matanga for a week. Yeah. So I'm just downloading all of these beautiful photos. The campus one is really gorgeous. Thanks, Sophia, for all these beautiful, beautiful images. Yeah. Oh. You can leave at your own pleasure, and good night. So let me stop recording.